Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new episode of Legends. Tonight on the show, we are going to do a deck comparison, and we've got an original build from Ioftherestlessstorm. It's a Hlaalu Altar of Despair build, and I must say I was quite happy when he proposed to try out this deck. Basically, you just play control until you get altars, and then you steamroll into aggressive in mid to late game, most likely into the late game. But while testing it, please excuse the two missing cards, I replaced them with something else. But while testing it, out of I'd say 50 matchups, I barely got 2 wins, and one was a mirror match in which Ioftherestlessstorm challenged me to see how the deck works. Well, for him, it works perfectly. For me, it did not work as expected. And after a lot of gameplay, I spent like a night trying to identify where the problems resided. Most likely due to my bad luck. But, for example, having Altar of Despair summon Hlaalu Oathman with no creatures on the board is kind of messy, and it's unwanted. And for me, that happened multiple times, and it caused me to lose the game in multiple instances. Inconsistencies that, in my opinion, there are inconsistencies, such as too many one-cost creatures. Even though you can drop Ungalim, you have no guarantee that using Altar on the first charge will get you a Brotherhood Assassin. Now, the Moongate and the Moonface Sithai are situational. For example, I didn't manage to get them to trigger when I needed them. And there are a couple of other problems that I identified, such as there are only 2 altars and there's no journey, so if you by any mean happen to just lose some of the big cost creatures, or you get them in your hand and you summon them, when the altar gets to that number, you'll basically summon a sweet roll, and that's again problematic. Another problem that I identified is the lack in consistency with the 7 cost, and there's no 10 cost at all. So that's also that was also one of the issues. Now, problem with the deck itself is it relies on Duke Vidum Dren most of the time to start drawing stuff, and once that is removed, you're basically at the mercy of your draws, precisely trying to get what you need from multiple card draw instances. You've got plenty of those. You would have Grave Viper Brigand and Hlaalu Oathman, and there's enough synergy in the card colors to trigger Hlaalu Oathman. But in my games, it did not work at all. So I decided to fix the problems that were happening on my side, and I came up with the second build. Okay, which is my modifications and my take on it. So, we kept Bandai Opportunist just 1 copy, added 2 rapid shots. We've got Shadow Shift, Ungalim. Ungalim having only 1 cost, one cost creatures gives consistency to the Brotherhood Assassins. Finish off Thieves Guild Recruit, Archer's Gambit, Crusader's Assault, Golden Initiate. Golden Initiate was not in the original build, and it's a must. Combined with Ibn Heart Oracle, you can pull some good HP gain and survive until you get your cards. We got Grave Viper Brigand, Hlaalu Sharpshooter, Sanctuary Pet, Dushnik, Haunted Mana 2 copies, Hive Defender, Murkwater Scourge, and Nasi. Only 1 copy of Burn Clan Night Stalker because that's the only copy I have. Cast into Time, added removals, more removals because they are needed, especially since this wants to be a control deck, or at least Ioftherestlessstorm stated that it's more of a mid-range deck, but I would go deeper and say, at least my instance, is a more control-oriented deck. Duke Vidim Dren, 2 copies of Ibonat Oracle, forgot to mention Cauldron Keeper, Leaf Lurker, Lydia, Piercing Javelin, Torval Extortionist. This was one of my additions because you can gain some pretty good magicka if you time it right. Apex Wolf, Thadden, Gentleman Jim Stacy, Grimant Margus, added Journey. So we have 3 altars, and Journey is a must. Nick Socks, only 1 copy. Ulfric's Uprising, Dawn's Wrath, added this because also in decks that usually want to fill the board, Dawn's Wrath is excellent in removing the bulk of the opponent's creatures. Queen's Captain, Eclipse Baroness, Mulamir, a good addition to the deck. Basically, you summon it and you can clear up a lot of the creatures that you don't like. Mirak and Odaving. And the 10th cost that I've added is Hulking Scallan. When this baby hits the board, it's pretty hard to remove. Your opponent has to use Silence and then a heart removal. So it's an advantage. Your opponent will be forced to play against it. Otherwise, it can prove fatal, at least into the late game when the HP is not so big. So Hulking Scallan can then push for lethal. So this is the build. Let's take it out for a spin and see how this new instance works. Okay, so we have, I'd say we successfully tested the deck against Wacky Me, and Wacky Me was playing a Guildsorn Dragon deck, and fortunately he had to concede because there was no way in pushing through. So I'm quite happy with the result. Now let's see how it does against a somebody random. Playing against a sorcerer, and this could be Skelesork. Crusader's Assault, I'll take that. Let's draw some cards. And we get Finish Off and Rapid Shot. Curious to see what kind of Skelesork is this. Is it with training rounds or is it without training rounds? And most importantly, is it my deck or is it somebody else's deck? Because if you guys remember, I showcased my very own Skelesork. I still have some couple of modifications to do to it, because it's too heavy on the 4 cost. I hadn't had much time at my disposal. My brain is completely damaged from all the meetings and all the stuff that have been happening at work. So let's see if we can use Duke Vidim Dren to our advantage here. Hopefully it will not get a Sorcerer's Negation. Okay. Vestery. How do we deal with that? I could very well trade into it. But I should drop Lydia. To protect Duke Vidim Dren. And it's Lydia has 3 attack and 8 HP, so I think it's safe to say that she will be able to stand up to those skeletons. And I'm guessing you guys are wondering why I popped the ring. Well, Duke Vidim Dren gives you a card based on your remaining magic after you summon your first card, or actually play your first card that turn. This does not happen for the first turn that you actually drop Duke Vidim Dren, but in the following turn, I had so I just had 5 magicka. In the following turn, you can activate Duke Vidum Dren. So goodbye, lady. Unfortunately, yeah. So I popped the ring charge there and got a 1 cost back because I had 5 magicka. Let's dushnik that training grounds. Goodbye, training grounds. And we're going to end our turn. I'm keeping that javelin in hand just in case my opponent decides to play a Bone Colossus. Uh-oh. Oh, not Thaden. Altar. I could play Altar, but I have nothing to summon. Actually, if I play Altar, I'll get a 1 cost. And it could be a Bandari Opportunist. But I'm going to play Thieves Guild Recruit. And let's use Hlaalu Sharpshooter. And finish off. Need to be careful not overdraw. I have quite the arsenal in my hand. I'm just waiting for the right moment to play Spirit Knife on Duke Vidum Dren. He really wanted that card out. That's 2 altars, and I also have Journey in hand. So I think it's safe to say we can do something here. Oh look, Bandari Opportunist. So let's hit some more face. And we'll play the mummy as well. Not going to break a rule. My opponent has enough cards. If this is a Skelesork, I'm positively sure that there's no Shadowfen Priest in it. How do we deal with this? Because we won't be able to pass through that Dark Guardian. I have Burn Clan Night Stalker, so I could use that to remove both creatures, I believe. Yeah, but that's of course if my opponent doesn't use a Sorcerer's Negation. So we want to get rid of... No! Damn it. Well, the problem is I should have targeted the Dark Guardian with my Burn Clan Night Stalker. Now it will do absolutely nothing because most likely my opponent will trade into it. Yep. Bummer. Whoops. Stuff like this happens all the time. Important thing is to learn from your mistakes. Another Templar. Oh, and another Hollow Death Priest. Goodbye, Odavink. Most unfortunate. So I had Thaden and Odavink turned into mush. I can hit for face. I'm at 10 magicka. I will drop Eclipse Baroness. And I can silence something. Let's silence that Templar there. No more HP gain for you. And let's hit one more time. Let's see what we can summon with the altar. A 3 cost and well, it's gonna get destroyed by the Hollow Death Priest there. We could have used it on the another Hollow Death Priest and goodbye, Gentleman Jim Stacy. But you know what? That was actually the last of those So, okay, let's see how we deal with this. Well, that Templar, that's the third Templar. I will play Scourge. What a Scourge. That will give me a Curse. I'm going to trade into that. Play the Curse on the Templar there. It's 5 damage that we can remove from the board quickly. Even though my opponent will regain 5 HP, it's good because the rune does not regenerate. So I can eliminate that 5 HP instantly with the Eclipse Baroness. Okay. I think it's safe to say we can deal enough damage. Let's deal that. Yep, low battery, as always. Hit for face, and that's a Prophecy. Arise. I don't think Arise is that good. So it's definitely not my deck because I'm not using Rise in my own. Another Training Grounds. That is awful because I just played Dushnik from Alta. Should have waited, I think. Wow, those buffs. Okay, my opponent decided to push for face because it's pretty important. Otherwise, he will be dead. Soon. Now I need something to shut down that field lane because the shadow lane is pretty much dead. Let's play Mummy. We can use that. We have another Mummy just in case we get to summon something good. Mirak. Mirak, that's good stuff. Let's play Cauldron Keeper. Okay. We got a Hlaalu Sharpshooter, which is going to be great in removing that guard. Probably not the best idea. Actually, if I would have used it on a Mummy, it would have been better because I would have removed 2. Because Silence would have dropped it to 1/1 and then destroyed. Let's see what we get here. Oh, an Apex Wolf and the Ebonheart Oracle. We're going to gain a lot of HP. Sorcerer's Negation on Eclipse Baroness. That was probably a mistake. Okay. Arise again. In my opponent's situation, I would have used the Sorcerer's Negation on the Eclipse. On the Ebonheart Oracle. That's a gun in the field lane. That's great. Let's straight into that. Let's drop a Viper Brigand and let's use. Probably should have attacked because the Grimmett Margus showed up. Yeah, so this match is turning into a slugfest. The Skeletor cannot match the sheer numbers that the altars can pull on the battlefield. That's the second and last Training Grounds, because one we destroyed without Dushnik early on. Alright, so we'll just cast that into time. And let's use Crusader's Assault on Apex Wolf. And we will get Leaf Lurker. Okay. Yeah, so there's no point in playing the game anymore. But we'll just push for lethal and end this. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the outcome. Especially since I managed to show it to you guys. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Cheers!